You know those moments you expect to feel like magic? The ones you dreamed about as a kid, like shopping for your wedding dress after getting engaged to the man you thought would be your forever. For me, that moment began with sparkles in my eyes but ended with betrayal, heartbreak, and a twist I never saw coming. This isn't just a tale of a broken engagement. It's a story of discovery, deception, and the sweet power of reclaiming your own narrative. I didn't just walk away. I walked away with fire in my chest and a plan in my head. When Andre dropped down on one knee at the edge of a pier under a sunset painted with bruised purples and gold, I said yes without hesitation. We'd spent nearly 4 years together. Quiet dinners, late-night road trips filled with mismatched playlists, and the occasional silly argument that fizzled out as quickly as it started. That proposal felt like the culmination of it all. I was 32 then, and after years of believing love was a puzzle with missing pieces, I finally thought I had found the edges. Andre wasn't a man of grand gestures. He was steady, the type to offer a quiet smile or a shoulder when I needed it. That night on the pier was the most dramatic thing he'd ever done, and it worked. My yes wasn't only for the ring. It was for all the years behind us and the future I thought we were building. The next day, we told family and friends. Champagne popped. My mother cried into a delicate lace handkerchief she claimed she'd carried since her own engagement, and Andre's cousin clapped him on the back with a teasing grin. I didn't ask what was whispered between them, but I noticed a flicker of unease cross Andre's face. I brushed it off, lost in the celebration. The weeks that followed blurred into planning. Pinterest boards overflowed, cake tastings filled our Saturdays, and my younger sister, who lived states away, sent me daily memes and suggestions. Andre was happy to let me take the lead. He wasn't a micromanager, and I liked it that way. I thought we trusted each other. Then, on a whim, I stepped into a small bridal boutique I'd passed dozens of times. It was tucked between a flower shop and a vintage bookstore in downtown Richmond. I had the afternoon off, coffee in hand, and thought I'd just peek in. Maybe find inspiration, maybe surprise Andre later with my favorite styles. It was supposed to be a simple moment of joy. But magic has a cruel sense of timing. That Friday morning, Andre kissed my forehead before heading out with a suitcase. "Just a short business trip to Dallas," he said softly, brushing a curl from my face. "I'll be back by Sunday night." I believed him. Why wouldn't I? Business trips weren't unusual for him. He always texted when he landed, sent photos of hotel lobbies, complained about bland dinners with clients. This time felt no different, except we were engaged now, and everything seemed shinier. I missed him, but in that sweet, giddy way brides-to-be do. So while he was away, I thought I'd indulge myself with a little dress shopping. Nothing serious, just browsing. I wanted to see if any gown made my heart skip the way everyone says it should when you find the one. The boutique was charming, a hidden gem with white brick walls, soft lighting, and the faint scent of roses and vanilla in the air. I wandered between racks of lace and satin, fingertips brushing fabrics that felt like pieces of the future. In my head, I pictured walking down the aisle, Andre's eyes glistening, my mother dabbing her tears again with that same handkerchief. The bell above the door jingled. I didn't turn immediately. I was lost in daydreams. Then I heard his voice. "Andre." My heart leapt. Maybe he'd cut his trip short to surprise me. Maybe he missed me too much to stay away. But before I could spin another hopeful thought, I heard her. "Baby, this one is so me, right?" I froze. I turned and saw him, my fiancé, arm in arm with another woman. She was stunning. Tall, confident, elegant, the type who didn't need to compete because she already carried the room. Her hand clutched his like she owned it. The attendant, clipboard in hand, smiled warmly. "Welcome back, Ms. Pierce. We still have your measurements from last week. Shall we get started?" Last week. Andre leaned down and kissed her temple. "You're going to look incredible," he said with a smile I had thought belonged only to me. I ducked behind a rack of gowns, hands trembling, stomach churning. My heart pounded so loudly it drowned out the boutique's soft music. When the woman disappeared into a fitting room, Andre remained outside, casually scrolling through his phone like this was all perfectly normal. I pulled out my phone, snapped a photo, not for evidence, but for clarity. Proof I could hold on to later when doubt tried to soften reality. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I poured a glass of wine, sat on the floor of my apartment, and opened a fresh notebook. On the first page, I wrote 2 words in bold ink. Operation Closure. If Andre wanted to build a fantasy life with someone else, then I'd show him what real betrayal looked like. The next morning, I stared at the photo on my phone like it was a crime scene, his hand wrapped around her waist, her smile glowing in the mirror. My fiancé. Our future. I zoomed in on his face, searching for guilt, hesitation, something. But there was none. Just ease. Comfort. Familiarity. I didn't know her name yet. I didn't know how long it had been happening. But I knew one thing with surgical clarity. I was not going to walk blindly into a marriage built on lies. So I started digging. First, his social media. Clean. Too clean. The kind of curated presence that made me suspicious. Then I looked at tagged photos. Buried in an album from a corporate retreat 2 months back, I spotted her again. This time half-cropped, her hand resting on Andre's back. Screenshot saved. Next, I texted his assistant, pretending I was planning a surprise honeymoon. Hey, do you remember the dates of Andre's last Dallas trip? I added a little heart emoji to keep it playful. She responded within minutes. Hi. Last Dallas trip was in June. Hope this helps ring. But Andre told me he'd just come back from Dallas last weekend. My grip tightened on the phone until my knuckles ached. If he lied about this, what else was fabricated? I called my best friend, Keisha. Tried to keep my tone steady. You free tonight? Her voice sharpened instantly. What's wrong? Not much. Just wine or whiskey. Both, she said without hesitation. That night, she came over in sweats with a bottle of red and her unshakable loyalty. I showed her the photo. I told her everything. She didn't gasp. She didn't coddle. She poured our drinks, locked eyes with me, and said, So, sis, what's the plan? And just like that, Operation Closure wasn't just ink in a notebook anymore. It became a mission. One he'd never see coming. I didn't wait for Andre to come home. By Monday afternoon, I called him and told him to meet me for lunch at the Magnolia House, a little restaurant we used to frequent back when things were still simple. Nostalgia, I figured, would be my sharpest weapon. He showed up in his work suit, tie slightly loosened, face carrying that mix of charm and stress I used to find endearing. Sliding into the booth, he asked, Everything okay? I smiled sweetly. I thought we could celebrate us. Relief softened his shoulders. He grinned, almost boyish. That's sweet. I've missed this. I let the silence stretch before reaching into my bag. Slowly, I placed my phone on the table, turned the screen toward him, and tapped the photo. Andre. The boutique. Her. His fork froze midair. His face drained like someone had pulled the color out of him. I didn't go searching for this, I said calmly. I went to look at wedding dresses. Like any excited fiancé would. He opened his mouth, closed it again. I leaned in. So, do you want to explain what you were doing with her? Or should I ask Ms. Pierce myself? His voice cracked. It's not what you think. I tilted my head. Really? Because it looks exactly like my fiancé escorting another woman to a wedding gown fitting. Should I explain to her how proposals work? Or maybe the 3 of us should sit down and compare timelines. Panic flooded his eyes. Please don't do that. I panicked. I didn't know how to end things with her. I proposed to you because I realized you were the one, but by then, I was already in too deep with her. So what? Were you planning to juggle 2 weddings? My voice was sharp, but steady. He buried his face in his hands. I love you, he mumbled. I just didn't want to lose you. I stood, sliding my bag onto my shoulder with precision. You already did. I walked out of that restaurant with my head high, leaving him in the booth drowning in the wreckage of his own lies. And for the first time in weeks, I felt the ground firm beneath my feet. I thought I'd feel empty after it all, after confronting him, after watching his double life unravel. I expected numbness, maybe even guilt. But what I felt was something else entirely. Freedom. Still, one question gnawed at me. Why? Why lead two women on? Why not walk away like a decent man? I wanted answers. So I got creative. Using a new number, I texted Andre pretending to be someone from a bridal blog. I wrote that we'd heard about his boutique visit with Ms. Pierce, and wanted to feature their love story. I even attached a mock interview template with questions like, how did you know she was the one? Did you plan a unique proposal? He replied in under an hour. I'd love that. She'd be so touched. We haven't gone public yet, but maybe this is the sign it's time. That was all I needed. He wasn't just careless, he was arrogant. Confident enough to rewrite his story while standing in the rubble of mine. So I sent one last message. This isn't a bridal blog. This is the woman you proposed to first, the one you lied to, the one you cheated on. And now, I'm the one who will make sure you're never trusted again. Then I blocked the number. That night, I posted a photo on the bridal Instagram account I'd used to bait them. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, sitting on the floor surrounded by shredded wedding magazines and broken illusions. My caption read, "This isn't a heartbreak story. It's a survival story. This isn't about a man who lied. It's about a woman who refused to keep believing lies." Some endings aren't tragedies. They're escapes. The comments flooded in within hours. Women from everywhere shared their stories, their wounds, their triumphs. Andre tried reaching out again, this time from a different number. His last message was just a photo, a bottle of whiskey, the engagement ring beside it, and the words, "I ruined everything. Please." I didn't reply. Instead, I packed a small bag, booked a solo retreat in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and turned off my phone. Up there, the air was sharp and clean, my mind even sharper. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't planning a wedding. I was planning a life. No lies. No dress. No man. Just me, finally free, finally whole. And I had never felt more beautiful. He lost me. I found me. That's the real victory. Because sometimes the greatest revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right.